Hello, everybody. I'm Linhares, and this is SIPS of Science, episode number 12. And today I have the honor of having here with me Dr. Florian Kongoli again. Hello, Dr. Florian. How are you?
Hello, Mario. How are you?
I also here have with me Professor Mark Horstemeyer. Hello, Professor. How are you?
Hi, Mario. How are you today?
And I also have Professor Dr. Mohsen Asle Zaeem. Did I say it right?
Yes, correct. Hello, Mario. How are you?
Hello, how are you? Today we have again multi-country, multinational broadcast. We have three countries, three different time zones. We've got Dr. Florian Kongoli in Montreal, right? What's the temperature there, Dr. Florian?
About 17 degrees, 16, 17.
Yes. A little colder than here in Rio de Janeiro. 20 degrees. And what about in Colorado, where Dr. Zaeem is?
Yeah, it is about 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius.
Very good. And in Virginia, Professor Dr. Horstemeyer, what is the temperature there?
Yeah, it's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think puts about 21 Celsius.
21. So everybody about a 5 degree Celsius, a difference between the hottest and coldest spot. Yes, we're in the middle of the in between seasons. So mid seasons are usually, it's going to be very soon. It's going to be spring in the southern hemisphere and autumn, fall in the northern hemisphere.
Two continents, three countries, two continents,
yes,
three countries,
two
same
continents,
temperature.
Two hemispheres. Yes.
Two hemispheres.
Well, I like this.
Three countries, same temperature.
Very good. Well, today we have a very interesting broadcast. We are talking today about the Horstmeyer International Symposium on Multiscale Material Mechanics and Sustainable Applications. And our guests today, they are very connected to this. And one names the symposium, Professor Horstemeyer, Dr. Horstemeyer, and the other co-chairs it, Professor Dr. Zaeem. And I would like first to both are engineers, so honoring engineers, I'd like to show a quick video. Dr. Florian is also an engineer, so I'm the only non-engineer here. I'm a journalist, but let's start talking about why engineers and SIPS are so linked, so connected.
Slogan meetings are unique in the sense that they combine science, engineering, and fun.
Here they talk science, they talk engineering, they talk technology.
And indeed the very relations between the science, the engineers and the politicians. That is a framework which is absolutely essential.
It's very important for me to understand how interact, let's say, the science with the sustainability and the social responsibility.
I meet a lot of people, normally not used to meet. It should be nice to actually meet them and have a discussion longer with them.
And when you bring people together with different backgrounds and different interests, you create new technology and directions, and that's very important.
Been an interesting conference in which we had met and had interesting discussions.
We've had some excellent discussions, talk about things that need to happen, things that clients need that we have not done yet. There's some very positive developments going to come from the people that are here working together.
It has been very, very useful in establishing very successful collaborations that we have had. This, in my opinion, is very unique.
Very good results. I'm really excited and very happy to be here present.
More engineers are present at this conference. We have so many problems in the world, and engineers finally need some recognition that they are only possible to solve problems, and that also the industry becomes aware about that some business models will not work in the future anymore.
So you can see how different companies not only incorporate in their vision the sustainability of a guide.
I think it always helps to get new views of everything. Being a manager is really about building strong teams, and this is what you do here. This is team working, this is connecting.
Until the chance you can work together. Wow, wonderful. If it's not,
still you'll be able to learn more and network with the people from different industries. It's this tremendous reward.
Summit of this type allows us to expose our effort to other engineers for criticism, for suggestion, for improvement. So it's a continuous scientific process that can, in my opinion, can only be done, in any case, can be best done by a summit such as one organized by this magnificent conference.
That's it. This is SIPS, Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition, Sustainability Through Science and Exhibition, from the 27th of November to the 1st of December in Phuket, Thailand. And I would like to start talking with Dr. Florian about it. Dr. Florian, sustainability through science and technology. Engineers play a fundamental role in this, don't they?
Yes, that's correct. And if you see here, we are three engineers here. Professor Horstemeyer started an engineer in Sandia Laboratory. And also Professor Mohsen is also an engineer. I am also an engineer. And this is beauty of this SIPS of Science number 12. We are three engineers from various parts of the world, and we are strong on it. Sure, engineering is not an isolated field. We are much more than engineers. So Professor Horstemeyer went from leader in engineering at Sandia Lab to academic life, but he still is an engineer. Professor Mohsen also same thing. So he's a professor now, but he is fundamentally an engineer. And engineering is part of one of the sustainability pillars, which enters at the science and technology. So again, SIPS is a 360-degree summit covering every aspect of life. So, and this is based on Flogan sustainability framework. If I recap a little bit, so there are three criteria of sustainability. Three is protection of environment, is economic growth. We shouldn't forget that, and also is social development, social advancement. So to be sustainable is to achieve simultaneously these three criteria: social advancement, economic protection, environmental protection, and economic growth. If you forget one of those, you are not sustainable. So if you are only environmental protection, you forget economic growth, or you forget social advancement, social development, you're not sustainable. And also vice versa. If you just take care of economic development, economic growth, forget environment and forget social development, you are not sustainable. And also, if you take care only of social society development, forget environment, forget economic growth, you are not sustainable. So you have to achieve them simultaneously. Now, the concept of Flogan's sustainability framework came because of the confusion encountering in any definition of sustainability. Everybody around the world was putting at the sustainability definition anything they hold dear. So cultural things, indigenous people rights, government, all these are valid, are good causes. The issue is they created a misconception about sustainability. The definition became so cumbersome. Nobody was able to differentiate. So they were putting pears and apples in the same basket, and they were not able to differentiate things. So that's why we created the Flogan sustainability framework, where we divide the criteria, where you just saw the three criteria to be achieved simultaneously. But what are the actors or the pillars which can hinder or achieve sustainability? For us, there are three: science and technology, governance and management, and education and civil society. It's a table of three pillars. Any of the pillars goes down, the whole structure disappears. So the three are equally important. The three pillars are equally important. Science and technology. Here we have Professor Horstemeyer and Professor Zaeem, both working in science and technology. So they have an engineering degree and they are working on the research. Basically, science and technology is what brings us. There are three equally important pillars, but there is an order of precedence. We have to start with science and technology because science and technology offers solutions. There is no government in the world that can by decree or by any decision can say, okay, let's protect the environment without having tools. Tools and the means are offered by science and technology. Sure, there are some organization issues that government can deal with, like save a little bit of water, save a little bit of this, increase the taxes. But the impact of this do not go so near that science and technology. So the science and technology offer the solution, and the role of government becomes much easier if we have solution from science and technology. So the pillar of science and technology is so strong, even at this live. We have science and technology. I'm a science and engineer. Professor Horstemeyer is science engineer. Professor Zaeem is a scientist and engineer. So we have one of the pillars covered here already. However, it's not just that. I mentioned the other pillar is government and management. Government, as I said, is very important here. We also we have government covered in somehow. Professor Zaeem is program director of National Science Foundation in US, one of the biggest, actually currently the biggest fundamental science funding in the world. So basically, he's covered one part of the government, but also his management. Professor Horstemeyer, he is an engineer. He is an academic also. He is the founder of many private companies. So if you are a founder, you have to manage the company and you have to manage it sustainably. So we have the pillar of governance and management covered, and education and civil society. Professor Horstemeyer is a professor at university. Professor Zaeem is a professor at university. We have to prepare the future generation in science and technology in order to be sustainable. So the three pillars of sustainability are covered here from us here, and that's SIPS. So I mentioned 360 degrees. We start from geology, mining, processing, mineral processing, extraction, refining, advanced materials, nanomaterials, nanotechnologies, technologies in medicine. We have a law symposium dedicated to the famous Washington, D.C. lawyer. We have, you name it, we have a 360 degree. And this is intentional. And this is unique in the world. Why? Because we need all this for in our life. And we have, historically, we have, the science has been divided in various aspects, in various divisions, in various, fields because of ignorance. Actually, science is one. SIPS is bringing them together. It's bringing them under one roof in order to increase the synergy, between different fields of science. So we are here at multiscale materials modeling. So this is basically, it's not a field of science. Basically, this is a method. And this is another example. This method can be applied everywhere in all of these fields I mentioned, in all these 360 degrees of science. And many people do not know that. So that's why we have a specific symposium dedicated to Professor Horstemeyer that is dealing exactly on this. People do not know exactly that. This is a method applicable everywhere. And this is the beauty of this. So it's applicable. Professor Horstemeyer has worked on Sandia Lab in nuclear engineering, in nuclear science, nuclear engineer, and security. So these are all part of life. Imagine like this. We do not think this way because we live on Earth. If you send an astronaut through NASA or through private companies now in a different planet or you have to think about all this, from minerals to modeling to extraction to lab of minerals to legal aspects to health aspects, you name it. So that's the purpose of SIPS. Everything under one roof. There are 50 deep science symposia, very specific, in one roof. What is the spine of all this is sustainability. So all the other symposia are like vertebra around this spine. So this is the entire concept. And that's why we have Horstmeyer International Symposium on multiscale materials modeling that is applicable in all these fields. And this will be very interesting for all this symposia to interact and create synergy. And that's why in SIPS every year we have SIPS is originator and establishment of various multi-dimensional, multi-field, and multi-country cooperation projects, because there are people coming from 80 countries and all disciplines of science, and that's the best place in a best environment, one of the best in the world. We choose it intentionally. So that's it as a to set up the background of all this live, and probably now we should leave the word to the star of the event, Professor Horstemeyer, explaining why this is important, why this is so important for the society, in order other scientists from other fields understand, but also general public, because this is for general public. So basically, Mario, you should have asked this. I got your question.
Okay.
So you translate it in different terms.
No, it's okay. Well, as you said, this symposium is named after him, and I would like to before listening to Professor Horstemeyer, to congratulate you, because you've known very recently. You've just known that you've been awarded. I'm going to get the name of the Albert Sevier of the Medal of the American, the AMS International. Is that
ASM,
correct?
ASM.
That's it.
ASM.
Very good. So
just 2 days ago, not
congratulations.
recently, just 2 days ago.
2 days ago, right? So
2 days
congratulations.
Ago.
I mean, we have to add that to your long biography. And talking about this, if you want, if you're watching us and you want to know Professor Horstemeyer's biography, just in the description here, there is a link to his biography, and also Professor Zaeem's biography. Yes, so let's go straight to the point and listen to Professor Horstemeyer. Good afternoon for you, right?
Thank you, Mario, and Florian. Thank you for that introduction. It's excellent context for really my life. When Theodor von Karman said, "Science is the study of what exists, but engineering is a creation of what never was," there's two distinct processes where the scientific method of making a observation and a hypothesis and doing experiments for a theory, more for a law, is one process, but the engineering process is design, analysis, procurement, logistics, assembly, performance, sustainability, and death and recycling, and design for each of those. So in the design and analysis is where my world started, really at Sandia Labs in 1990, when we were not allowed to do underground thermonuclear tests, but yet had to have a 10 to the 9th reliability that the bomb's going to go bang when you want it to go bang. And you can't do an experiment. So that's the highest reliability I know of anything man-made of that. And you go from the model and simulation then to the errors, to the uncertainty, then to the probability, then to reliability. And so you have to have very accurate models. And that's where we started a top-down approach of what the requirements were for the design of the real entity, all the way down to electrons. And then we ran simulations from electrons to atoms, from atoms to dislocation, from dislocations to grains, to the phases, all the way up to the large-scale structures. And then once doing that, we moved it towards cars and automotive, the largest market in the world. And that's when I moved from Sandia Labs to Mississippi State University. And that's when Professor Mohsen and I crossed paths doing this multi-scale modeling. And there I started doing car crash designs for Nissan. The Altima, the Maxima, the Quest van were designed using these methods. Then I started getting involved with developing that for the human, because the number one cause of death between age 1 and 34 is a car crash worldwide and in the United States. And I realized cars were designed for dummies, not for humans. And so that we started doing this multi-scale modeling for designs. And that's what even got me recently into sports helmets, football, American football, baseball, hockey, and that sort of thing. And then recently in the last years, as Florian talked about, not only moved it from metal alloys to polymers to the biology of the human, but even to the earth and the cosmos, that there's multi-scale structures in the cosmos. And we were able to transfer like Hooke's law and the mechanics and materials of that all the way to the general theory of relativity. So it is broad, it is ubiquitous, and very applicable in a very practical way to optimize designs.
Very good. Thank you very much. Dr. Zaeem, what should we expect at the International Symposium at SIPS from the 27th of November to the 1st of December in Thailand?
So I should actually come. So Mark doesn't really is very humble to mention all the things he has done in terms of generating a lot of databases for doing computational materials and computational mechanics, as well as at the same time basically educating and creating platforms for educating next generation of engineers and scientists. So as we already talked about, if we look at everywhere, we see materials. Basically, we need materials for different applications and different use. I would say one of the most relevant ones that we can name is just our phone, right? You compare our phone to what we had like 10 years ago. They're lighter, their battery lasts much longer. If you drop the phones, they don't break easily. So what happens is these just designing new materials. How this design actually, the design process comes from, where does design process comes from? It's just, we have a problem we want to solve, and then the engineers solve problems, right? So I just want to link this to a couple of very important work that Professor Horstmeyer did in the area of ICME. So ICME stands for Integrated Computational Materials Engineering, where you identify a problem, a real problem that you would like to solve. It could be a door for a car, for example. As we want to have a lighter door that contributes to the fuel efficiency of a car. At the same time, we want to increase the crash worthiness or the safety of the car. So we identified a problem. Now we want to solve it. We want to make a material that actually give us those particular properties. Also, it is manufacturable. Also, economy wise, it is also low cost. So Professor Horstmeyer actually has 2 books of ICME on ICME. If the reviewer, basically whomever actually watching this, want to refer to those books are basically explaining the fundamentals of how actually we identify problems, how we can solve it through multi-scale materials modeling or multi-scale mechanics. So at the same time, when we actually generate these computational tools and computational models that are integrated through different length scales, so we identify a problem at a higher length scale, then we go backward down until we reach the electronic scale. Then we come up with the solutions and we come up to the higher length scale until we get to the problem length scale. So the ICME, at the same time that we are solving a problem, that we are linked, basically connecting the science and technology, at the same time we are educating students, we are educating engineers, we are educating scientists to actually, not only we are educating them to learn these particular tools or how to modify them, to actually basically educate the next generation of problem solver, how actually you can prepare yourself to face the next generation of problems, right? Every day we come up or we see new problems that we have to solve, and these multi-scale materials models and these multi-scale mechanics models are applicable for many different things, as we already talked about. So I expect in this symposium, Mark Horstmeyer Symposium, first of all, you will see people coming from different backgrounds and showcase their latest and newest innovations in terms of utilizing and applying or advancing these computational materials tools or computational mechanics tool to address a particular problem or advance the science and technology field. So that is going to be really interesting and amazing, I believe, for the participants, also the audience, and the speakers also in this symposium. So I'm very excited about this symposium.
Thank you very much, Professor Zaeem. Dr. Florian.
I have a guest here.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's Goldie.
That's Goldie, but he cannot go up so much.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, Goldie, go.
I think it's the first time he's on a broadcast.
First time he came here.
He's usually around, but not in the behind the cameras.
Not in the videos.
Yeah, not in the video.
Yeah.
He's usually behind the cameras. It's usually his nap time, right?
Yeah.
When you're recording, probably. He's a very well-behaved dog, also. Well, before we keep on, if you're watching, I would like to thank you very much. I would like you to invite you to subscribe to the channels. This is a joint production between TV Onda Azul and Float Star International. And as we said today, as we usually do on SIPS of Science, we are talking about SIPS, the Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition. Yes, that is going to be taking place between the 27th of November and the 1st of December in Phuket, in Thailand. And Dr. Florian, before we go on, I would like you to make a comment about SIPS. But I usually say on our broadcast that P doesn't stand for processing. It does really stand for paradise. And before we go to our...
That's intentional. But probably if you can show the Horstemeyer promo video.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. So first of all, I'm going to show this promo video, and a little before we go to the second round, I would like you to explain about why you choose the venues that you choose. Okay, correct. But first, let's take a look at the promotional video for the Horstemeyer International Symposium. That's it. After Professor Zaeem's explanation in this video, we sure have to invite everybody that has any connection to the themes that are going to be discussed there. And I would like Dr. Florian to tell us, what is the symposium going to be about? What are the topics that are going to be discussed? You've got it behind you on the screen.
Yeah. So here is the live website of Horstmeyer International Symposium. These are our VIP guests. We have a record of 9 Nobel laureates. We have, by the way, we have the former director of National Science Foundation. You know, Professor Zaeem is now program director at National Science Foundation. But we have Professor Subra Suresh, former director of National Science Foundation, appointed directly by President Obama. Today he's rector. He's president of NTU University in Singapore. He will be coming. We have 2 American Chemical Society former presidents, 2016, 2020, and we have a vice president of European Research Council coming. So all are here in the website. You have the website. There is a biography of Mark and also the chairs. We have Professor Zaeem also here. The chairs are from all over the world, from Greece, from United States, from various countries. So, and the topics, there is a link on the topics. On the topics, you can see that you can click here and you have a link to what are the topics to be discussed. But what I wanted, all the topics are here. looks a little bit theoretical, but as I mentioned, this is applicable in all fields of science. Multi-scale modeling, you name it. Professor Horstemeyer explained very, very well where the applicability of that method. And, he has applied in Sandia National Laboratories. He has applied when he is now at the university, and also in his private established companies. So in many other fields. So although the topics look a little bit, theoretical, applicability is everywhere. And this is, for example, one of the purpose of the multi-scale modeling is to, let's say, let's take an example that everybody can understand. If you have a tool, if you make it lighter, you spend less energy. That's your help on sustainability. If you increase the lifespan, you're contributing to your sustainability. If you increase fatigue, like in the airplanes, the fatigue of the airplanes, you are contributing to sustainability. So basically, all this method contribute directly to sustainability. So this is the SIPS what does. It brings together from the very theoretical to very practical, and bridges the link. And that's why people find it very interesting, because we create the synergy. So this is the method applicable everywhere. Even Professor Horstemeyer mentioned it is basically in the human body, in biology. So we have 3 medical related symposia at SIPS. We have one on oxidative stress. We have one modern technologies, new technologies in medicine, and we have COVID symposium in a scientific analysis, what went wrong, what should have been done better in terms of technology, in terms of new treatments. So that's why. So now this particular symposia, they might have an interest on multi-scale modeling also. Modern medicine without physics, without modeling, multi-scale modeling is nowhere. Everybody has been in hospital. You see, in the hospital, you have more instruments than doctors. And mostly of all these instruments are basic on multi-scale modeling. Sometimes they screw up with modeling and give a wrong result. But anyway, generally it is an advancement. It's an advancement curve. So all the way to understand, you have to fail in order to progress. It's normal part of science. But so we should be careful of screwing up modeling. But anyway, it's an advancement. So anyway, this is the synergy. This is in a synergy of SIPS. So 360 degrees and synergy. We can go from one symposium to the other. Okay, somebody in medicine, a doctor say, oh, I have some modeling here. I've done some modeling myself. I should go to Horstemeyer Symposium, see for these specifics. How can I use it in medicine? Could be another material scientist that, I'm applying this in human body processes and so on. You need multi-scale modeling. You have the interaction between organic and inorganic. That's why we say there is no more difference between organic and inorganic chemistry. It's just one. We just divided because of ignorance in the past. We are the SIPS is bringing them together. So this is, that's why people have to come. This is not a theoretical symposium. It is theoretical and practical. But in order to be applicable, you have to start from fundamentals. You have to start from modeling, from grain sizes, from you name it, going to electronic structure, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, every applicability, it is helping the society. So all this, even in the astronaut going to another planet, hopefully soon, where we've been in moon anyway, but they are going back again. So these are part of life. An astronaut has to take care of, you name it, every single thing himself as a human being, and that's it. So you mentioned about P, the paradise.
Yes.
Well, that's intentional. It's not by hazard. Or what's the idea about this? Science and especially the engineers normally are those that develop the society, but they do not get the credit. SIPS is a pioneer on this, to honor scientists, engineers, to give them proper credit. And we have done it since 2003 when we started in San Diego, California, the first SIPS, 2006. Actually, everything, this is based in San Diego, California. 2003, San Diego, California. 2006, San Diego, California. 2011 it was in, well, another one, it was San Diego, California. There are three. The first three is in San Diego, California. And then we go all over the world now. It's the honoring scientists and engineers is one of the subjects that helps sustainability. Why? Because all over the world today, number of students that go in science engineering is dropping down. Besides a few countries, China is an exception, and then we have to think hard of that. So many from young generation, they do not see science and engineering as an attractive field. Why? Because they call it working hard and no credit, and basically no money, not enough money, and that's true. And then they see movie stars, TV stars in the 5-star hotels enjoying life, and this gives a misconception like being an actor is easy, you get money easily. That's not true, but this is a myth. But the perception in lives are important. The purpose of SIP is to bring science and engineers at the best places around the world, on the beach side, at the 5-star hotel, but we negotiate good prices. All our 5-star hotels, you pay for a 3 or 4 star. So this is the basic of this P. And when you bring people together in the magnificent place, the science, being happy and being in a major beauty, surrounding by beauty, the SIPS proves and can prove that number of cooperation, new ideas in science, technology, and cooperation projects between different fields of science, they increase a lot, because you are in a very inspiring and atmosphere. And this is also a gift to scientists, engineers. 5-star hotel, the best place in the world for affordable price. So these are the P's, the P of SIPS, and that's what we struggle hard to do. It's very important that in science they say, okay, you have to. It's a classical example. You have to fail 10 times and to succeed on the 11th. One of the why, because you are kind of isolated. If you come to SIPS, the chances are you don't need to fail 10 times. You might fail only 5, and the 6th time you succeed, because you have all fields of people. You gain your experience from different fields of science. So that's the idea. And then you are in the best places in the world, and you are inspired. One of our attendees, Jean-Marie Dubois, Professor Jean-Marie Dubois, in an interview said it's hard to people to convince our colleagues that are not here that we are in the middle of this beauty, and we are working from 7 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. at night. Yeah. Because we have every night, we have every single night, we have a dinner and a show. So people know each other. There is no more giving a lecture, going to the hotel, you don't know what to do. They know each other. They become like a family. These bridges makes bridges between cultures, between field of science, and it's very easy to bring them together and to create multi-dimensional, multi-field and multi-country projects. And also, I remember the politicians from Brazil, João Ricardo, in the gala he mentioned, believe me, I've not been in the swimming pool, I've not been in the beach. I've been here all days following all symposium. So that's why this is true. But that's why we have a deal of the hotel that up to 5 days before, 5 days after, scientists and engineers can book the hotel with the same special price, because they are coming there. It's a very top-class scientific program, but if you want to have really some free time and enjoyment during every night, but still, during the dinner, people think about science, think about ideas. They say, okay, I use this method for this field. another person from another field, they say, oh, this is a good method, I should use it in my practice. So this is the idea. So that's why, you know, we have 5 days before, 5 days after. They can stay for vacation for a cheap price, the same price. So this is the magic of P, which also you can show what I mean.
Yeah, as I said, I'm going to ask. I'm going to show a movie now, and after that, I'm going to ask Professor Horstemeyer and Professor Zaeem about this, because how this environment, and you're going to see where the SIPS is going to take place. How can this beautiful place, this paradise, as we call, that's why we are talking about the P. Yes, the P in SIPS is standing for paradise. How this can help this scientific exchange, okay, this exchange of ideas. So let's take a look at Phuket. Well, that's it, SIPS, Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition from the 27th of November to the 1st of December in Phuket. Professor Horstemeyer, over 90% of all scientific works, researches, never come out of academia to the society. Yes. How important is an event like SIPS, where you unite some of the greatest minds in the world, and I include both of you, I mean, the three of you in this event, yes, in this category. How can this help humanity? How can this help society to benefit from the innovation that, I mean, is coming up faster and faster?
Yeah, you know, I agree with Florian. One time I was at a conference in Mexico on the beach, and I literally for 7 days never left the hotel. And I might as well have been a hotel in my hometown here across the street because of the meetings from morning to night. But when you can get out, and my wife is coming and we are spending the 5 days after and the 5 days before, it helps break your mindset out of your normal behavior, out of your mindset that you're living in and day out. And even in that physical environment there, you experience something new and different. And because of that experience, new and different, you're sort of open to new ideas. You're sort of open to kind of hearing different perspectives. And particularly the last SIPS one I went to, I listened to some of the Nobel Prize winners, and I ended up meeting and talking with them afterwards. It broadened my perspective on even my own work. And we had some synergisms, particularly with Daniel Schuchtman, on material modeling and some of the materials that he talked about. So it's a challenge in your brain. It's to get out of the natural ruts, and so to be able to do that, to expand and be more creative, and how to help solutions. I think Einstein said it best when he said Mach's problem in science was that he was limiting his brain to just in this one narrow area, and it took another level of thinking to broaden out and see the greatest impact to that. And I think that's what these meetings are about.
Professor Zaeem?
Yes, following up with Mark, it's leaving the current job or work you have, for example, as a professor, as a scientist in a national lab or industry, and come to a conference like SIPS. Basically, it provides a venue for you to open your minds about different ways of solving the same problem, or actually seeing other problems that you can apply your techniques and knowledge too. So it provides a venue for collaborations. And as you mentioned, Mario, that yes, 90% of academy research and projects may not actually be realized in industries or become actual products. But I think conferences like this, which actually provides a venue for industries, national labs, academia to get together, this is one of the ways to show the progress at different fronts, how they can actually meet and work together. At the same time, it is going to be an educational venue as well. It's just for everyone. For me, for example, coming and seeing the models, tools, and algorithms that I have been working on, what other applications they may have, or how I can find collaborators or to work closely with industries to transfer this technology, which we call it technology transfer. In universities that we have technology transfer offices. So this is very critical actually to provide, for example, what SIPS is going to provide is to connect basically academic research to national lab research to industry perspective and their capabilities, to connect these together to solve the current problems that we have, societal problems and other things, as well as actually future and forthcoming problems that we need to forecast and have plans to solve those. So yes, I'm very excited about this venue. I think it will provide this venue for integrating and collaboration between different fronts from industries and academia and national labs.
Dr. Florian, as of the Horstemeyer International Symposium and other symposiums at SIPS, we are 4 months away, 3 months away, right?
Two
Almost, 2.5 months, 2.5 months away. If I'm watching this, imagine I'm a scientist, right? I do research that is that has a relation to this or another symposium. Do I still have time to subscribe my work?
Yeah, sure, sure.
What do you suggest? Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, this is not an invitee-only summit. It's open to everyone that feels that he needs to communicate, to present something to their colleagues, any discovery, any development, any new technology, any new method, any new mathematical method, physical method with application, any, you name it, any. So we are open and we do not take sides between, we are apolitical, we don't take sides in technology debates. We welcome everyone. A paper could be also a list of failure. Knowing list of failure is good because the others will not even reproduce those failures. So this is very important in science. So there is no shame to fail in science. Actually, it's not called failure. It is learning. It is learning, learning from the from mishaps and so on. So it's a natural process. So we are still accepting abstracts for a limited time. You're free. You don't need invitation. If you need invitation, we can provide invitation. But you are free to choose. You go in the website. You see any modeling you have done in your life. You feel, this is good to present at this forum. Might be very good. It will attract people from all different sciences. Will see my modeling technique. You are welcome. So you need you just go on the website, submit an abstract. It's just half page. It takes about 1 minute. It's very easy, and then you follow the process. It's automatic. You'll receive automatic acknowledgement of receipts. Then it goes to a process of accepting, and then papers to publish the paper, which is peer reviewed, and then it will be a volume. Horstmeyer International Symposium on the multiscale materials modeling, and the best papers can be selected with proper updates and modification to make it like new. They will be published in a relevant journal as a special number. We have to determine the journal. We have determined this, but this is after the symposium. So this is like a little bit of the procedure how it goes. All are peer reviewed. All papers are in Google Scholar. If you go in Google Scholar and search sustainable industrial processes summit, you're going to find about 3,500 abstracts since we started in 2003. All are searchable in Google Scholar, which is a major technique in the world. Actually, Google has Google Scholar. It's a Scholar part of Google. So that's it's a great exposure. But at the end of the day, you mentioned 95% of paper. Actually, it's more than that. 99% of academic paper stay in the shelves of academic journals. Why? There are some reasons for that. Because, first of all, they are being published at specific journals. So if I have a technology or a modeling, I choose a journal that is just for my field, and there is a good reason for that, because it has to be evaluated by your peers in order to determine what you are bringing new. That's fine, but it is a very important aspect missing. You are missing, the publicity. You are missing the discoverability in other field of science. So by you get published in a high impact journal that stays in the library, but people from other fields of science, there is very difficult to understand what you're doing. Sometimes the articles are so specific in language that nobody outside that field can understand, and we have a big experience on this. So take especially in some self-propagating techniques in metal processing. There are some theoretical papers that many people cannot understand. There are publication in medicine.
I'm going to include myself in that category, yes.
They are so we're speaking scientist to scientist. Imagine the journalist. So it's a very there is no capacity of bringing the concept out of this deep scientific fields. That the terms are used in such. You should use the terms in a scientific paper, but you should make it understandable to a most general. That's why SIPS, especially plenary lectures, has that idea. Not so deep. Each symposium, we have 50 symposiums, you can go as deep as you want, but you have to have an aspect to make it visible to the society, and not only society, to different fields of science, different fields. So exactly. This is basically lacking. You name it. I was actually worked together in Orlando in an American Chemical Society conference.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in 2016, I guess 2018.
I went in 2019. 2019. Yeah.
So there was a big discovery, and the American Chemical Society chose the scientists to put in a press conference. So there were many journalists. I was there. The discovery was very good, but the quality of his explanation to journalists, he was in the podium, was horrible. Nobody understood what the hell he had done.
I'm going to be very honest. It's so good to hear you say that, because I felt I was like the most stupid person in the world, because I didn't understand anything.
Oh, because
and I said I'm not going to say anything because
so the guy was not
able
to explain to people what the hell he has done. It was a very good discovery.
And you got a ton out of my shoulders, because I had that impression. I've had that impression for 3 years. You made me feel so much better.
Basically, I told the guys, and you know what? Make a press, write something. I'm going to help you write something to understand what the hell he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, this is a big, that's what I'm saying. Being isolated is different things. And SIPS gives you this exposure between science. And basically, if you follow SIPS, I guess many papers will see the light of discovery, light of application, much faster. It will not be only in the shelves. But this is reality of life. You are used with those words. You are always in the lab. You cannot speak differently.
Exactly.
And Einstein had since Professor Horstemeyer and Professor Zaeem also followed on that. But Einstein used to say, if you are not able to explain to a 5-year-old child, you do not understand it yourself.
Very now, Dr. Florian, you mentioned a 5-year-old child. I would like to ask. We are getting close to the end of our show tonight, but I would like to ask Professor Horstemeyer and Professor Zaeem to make a comment. To imagine a teenager is watching us, and he's thinking, should I be a scientist? Should I be an engineer? As Dr. Florian said, less and less teens are considering becoming scientists, becoming engineers. What would you tell them that would help them change the mind and see, I can have a good life, a happy life, a productive life, and a successful profession, choosing science? And of course, if they have a talent for this, always up to the talent.
Yeah. So I have a brother that's a medical doctor. I have a brother that's a lawyer, got his doctorate in jurisprudence. And to this day, they both wish they went down the road of science and engineering instead of becoming a medical doctor and a lawyer. Although they make a lot of money in the medical field and law field, they're basically bored in what they do. And the challenges that come up every day in engineering and science challenge the brain to new levels, to deeper ways of thinking, to broader experiences, and trying to understand nature, to try to understand technologies. And so I didn't know what engineering was when I went into college. I only did it because my dad said, you're good in math and science. But when you talk about the process of creating something, I used to say I'm the least creative human God ever made. But then I started understanding the process of thinking related to it and getting that process down and understanding it. And it's been exciting. It's been a very exciting life. Just recently, by the way, the helmet that Tom Cruise wore on Top Gun Maverick, that helmet, the Army said, the military said, can you just get 40 G's less on the human related to that? So we did multiscale modeling of the brain, of the skull, of the head, of the foam liner, and we redesigned it. And the military, we said, you're going to have a 40%, you're going to make that 40%. In fact, you can get 43% less load on the human brain. And the military said, well, are you going to test this? And we said, no, you're going to test it. We're just doing the modeling. I said, well, do you trust your modeling? And again, this modeling went from bombs to cars to all these different things. And the guy drops the test, does the drop tower. We predicted 43% better. It was 42% better. And his answer was, wow, let's do that again. That can't be right. Dropped it again, 43% better. So it's a pretty exciting world we're in.
Excellent. Professor Zaeem.
Yes, exactly. Follow up with Mark. If I want to tell a teenager, if you want to reach a stars, become an engineer, because you never get bored. That shows when you come to a university as a mechanical engineer or as an electrical engineer, as a metallurgist. There are lots of different things that you can control and you can change. You can, while you're actually pursuing a career, you can go from different subjects to another subject. I can give you an example of one of my very close friends that started as a mechanical engineer and worked for an aerospace engineering company for a few years, actually 7-8 years. After that, I say, all right, can I apply the similar knowledge I have and learn some new things and go to another particular area? And he went to biomedical, basically research. So after a few years of that, now he's working on basically semiconductors in different industries. I mean, you're never going to get bored because the skills and the way of thinking, actually, you will be educated with. Is that you can become a problem solver. It doesn't matter what the problem is, because you are going to get the education and the knowledge, and just the broad thinking that you can actually attack any complex problems in any direction, so you never get bored. So Mark already mentioned that it's a very exciting area of to pursue, and this is why for example, I always say, if you want to become a NASA engineer, or you want to work for a SpaceX, or these companies that you know that they are on the frontier of science and engineering and technology, you basically need to go after basically getting a degree in engineering. So that's the great part of being a professor in the university, is that yes, we do work on research projects and other things, but we also see actually the education of students at different levels. So we have students at undergraduate levels, we have students at graduate level, we have postdocs, and they're all actually going to go back to the society, to different industries that they're going to apply their knowledge, and they have the tools and the necessary knowledge to make changes whenever they want, because it's not going to be just one line of work or one line of research. It can be applied to different disciplines. And I think Mark already mentioned, it's just going to be very exciting to work in engineering and science areas.
Well, fantastic. Before we go to our final considerations, I'd like to say... Sorry, Dr. Florian, go ahead.
It's okay. Well, I wanted to build a little bit on Professor Zaeem and Mark also before, just to follow the trajectory. It's an exciting field, but it's one of the one of the aspects that we have to also to mention. I remember I'm not sure which conference was that. One of the spouses of one of the famous professor. We are in the same table and we are making jokes, but at one point she said to me, "Oh, science, the issue is that scientists are boring." So,
and her husband was a scientist.
Scientist is a big name.
That's
actually.
Great. That wasn't a good compliment to her
well,
husband.
she told me. She didn't. He didn't hear. She told me. Well, you mentioned about P. Why this comes? Because the concept of scientists, they work like horses because it's very interesting. You don't get bored, but you get a credit like mouses from the society. We respect each other, but we are in a bubble. We respect a lot. But at the end of the day, you have only 2 weeks. You don't go in 5-star hotels. The society doesn't respect you. That's SIPS. That's why we choose the P. It's the best place in the world where you can come with your wives and enjoy. And anybody that comes to SIPS, always will come with family, will come with wives. They enjoy. They enjoy. Some of them, they stay in the technical session. They're not supposed to, because they're supposed to stay in the beach. No, they come there. You name it. So they have a good time. And then that lady will not say anymore, scientists are boring.
Well, that's correct. I'm going to show another video here, and then we go to our final considerations. Well, this is it, SIPS, Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition from the 27th of November to the 1st of December at the Phuket Hilton Arcadia in Phuket, Thailand. Well, Professor Horstemeyer, thank you very much for your participation, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in Thailand.
Yeah, me too, Mario. Thank you.
Professor Zaeem, thank you very much for being with us tonight, and see you in Thailand.
Thank you, Mario.
And Dr. Florian, I'll see you next week. Yes, for one more SIPS of Science.
Before I just mention something to finalize it. we have, when I mentioned government, we have many government, not only politicians, but also government, the institutions that come, because, government has to choose between different technologies. For example, also, government funding institute like National Science Foundation or any, they need to know what is going on in the world to make right decision. They need to know all field of science, because they're not finding only in field of science. And then we have many coming, probably ORNG. Sometimes we are sponsored by them. They participate. ORNG is Office of Naval Research in the United States, by the way, global. They have a global sector. So they sometimes they sponsor us, sometimes they participate, because they need to know in order to suggest to the government the best technology, the best this and best this, and to have all this field together makes their life much easier. And this is one thing, one point that I forgot to mention. And the other point is this, to make. That's why when I said that scientists are boring, actually they are not. It's a misconception. It is a myth. It's a perception. But perceptions are important. There's an entire class of politicians who work on perception.
Yeah.
So, we don't like it, but it is like this, what it is. So we have a special program, and as probably you know, we have Artists of Science, which we have one-on-one conversation with different scientists. We'll have with Professor Horstemeyer in Phuket and with Professor Zaeem if you are there. So we're gonna have you part of this program.
Very good.
One purpose, one goal of this program is to show that scientists are funny, are human beings, and you have a misconception about scientists.
And Dr. Florian, just to add up to what you're saying, you usually say that when you mix art and science, and of course, when you have an artist that scientists are, they are mixing art and science. 1 + 1 can be anything, not only 2, right?
5.
Makes
this
5,
is
10,
this
whatever.
is the motto of art and science. This is another program we have, Art of Science, where we say that 1 + 1 makes 5 if 1 is science and 1 is art. Exactly. So we have a new mathematics. But that's the idea. So this is a different program, Art of Science. This is Artists of Science, and there we have many. We have about 30 in our website. We have 30. Conversation with different scientists.
Maybe around 40 or 50.
I don't remember. And we are still editing more because we have.
Whenever you travel, we have it's not a regular show.
Yes.
Whenever you travel.
And we have also, Subhas Suresh. It's one of them. He used to be the director of National Science Foundation for 4 years. He is there. But we are focusing on the human part, science and human. As scientists, as a human.
Professor Suresh,
I guarantee you saw Mark and you saw Zaeem. They are not boring.
Oh no, they're great. It was very fun meeting you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. And it's good. This show is good because we show not only scientists but regular people like me. Yes. You guys are the geniuses. I'm just a regular guy, journalist. Wow, and what I think about what I find good about SIPS is that it's almost like science is translated to the regular person, and this is very important. So I would like to thank you very much with this opportunity. And as I said, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in Phuket. See you, everybody. Thank you very much for your viewing, and don't forget to subscribe to the channels and to leave your like on the video, leave a comment, and share with any friends that might have a special interest in sustainability, science, technology, engineering, and a better world. I'm Linhares. I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.